All right, 50 Shades Darker after 80 minutes. First thing I want to just say, I meant to say it the last time, but the soundtrack for this is ass. The soundtrack for this one, like the first one was lit. It had The Weeknd, it had Beyonce Jones up there. It had a couple Jones, and they had to slow it. It was different. This one is ass, bro. I just have to say that. Let's see. Um, what happens from here? Okay, so her boss makes the pass at her. Now, once the boss makes the pass at her, ain't nobody rocking with that. This and the third, boom, boom, boom. So, uh, next scene, she getting out the shower, or she comes back to him with a robe or whatever, and Christian's getting off the phone. Christian got the phone. He was like, "All right, so that's handled. Jack is fired." So she was like, "Well, I thought your deal with because he was supposed to be buying the company. I thought that deal didn't get finalized yet." He's like, "It hasn't. I know the CEO though. Told him what happened. I mean, right?" So Jack got fired. So then she was like, well, does that mean I'm gonna still have a job? Like, what's that? What is this? Because she was Jack's assistant or whatever. Now, but mind you, she was doing a really good job, and she was going above and beyond outside of what he had said. Like, she was doing a lot. So she was like, well, what does that mean as far as me having a job? He was like, I don't know. She's like, well, I like working and stuff. You just can't keep me locked up here in this penthouse. And he was like, well, what if I gave you a key? You brought some stuff over and you moved in. You didn't have to go nowhere. You could just be, I want to see you every day all the time. So basically he asked her to move in. And she was like, let me think about it. Of course, she don't never give no straight answer off the first time, especially when he first asked or whatever. She always got to think about whatever. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So she always got to think about it, right? He makes her an offer. She cannot refuse. Anyway, she's like, let me think about it. Okay, all right. I'm not sure what you really got to sit there and, part of it is having her own freedom and independence, and, she likes to work and da da da, boo, boo, boo. Anyway, so I guess that's a good quality. That's an alright trait for her. Anyway, so he makes the offers and so he's like, all right, well, we could talk about it over breakfast or something, like tomorrow in the morning, whatever. Hold up, let me try to see. It's that scene, and then so I don't think they get into too much of anything from there. I don't think, but I'm trying to make sure. I don't really think so. But just from in case I just also don't remember. But from there, she's like, okay, do I still got a job? She goes to work in the morning. It's in Jack's office. The one lady's like moving some stuff around and putting papers together. She's like, yeah, Jack is fired. Just ain't there, boom, boom. So she walks in. So she was like, I guess you don't have any need for me or whatever. And then the boss was like, well, the HR lady was like, there could be something, temporary or whatever. But she was like, fill in for Jack at the senior editors meeting. So she like, oh, I don't know about this. And she was like, okay, I'll do it. So she fills in for Jack at the senior editor meeting. So in the meeting, the round table going around the guy, and the one guy is like, well, this is how we got these. It's a publishing company or something like that. We got these people, and he said something basically along the lines of we got these 80 authors or writers or whatever. That's like the main target of like what they've been doing. So she, because she was like the understudy for Jack or whatever, and so she would know a little bit about some other things, right? So and she's new and outside everybody else in the senior editor means like kind of sort of older. So she was like, well, let's consider this other Arthur. He's like an up and coming writer, Arthur, whatever. He's had like 80,000 hits online within the past, whatever time frame or whatever. So, because they was talking in Santa Third, and she like low key mumbles. She was like, expanded, and it was like everybody look at her like, well, do you have a suggestion? What you saying? And so she was like, well, one author to consider is this guy. He's got like 80,000 hits over the last, few whatever. And that's from his online people. And so the one guy, I'm not saying he's trying to shoot down her idea, but he was like, well, online hits don't necessarily translate to physical sales. And she was like, well, it could. you know? And so there was like, that's actually a pretty good idea. We'll look into it. We'll consider it. You know what I'm saying? This and that, boom, boom. So when they leave the meeting, um, the one guy who had kind of sort of like opposed the idea originally in the meeting, he was like, great idea. He said that to her. And then I'm not sure if that was sarcasm or not, but or if it was genuine, but whatever. He says it, like he was like, great idea. It didn't get the vibe of like a sarcasm. He was like, great idea. And everybody's like walking past. He says that. Then the next guy, who I guess is like the over top of the whole thing, he was like, well, what are you gonna be doing for work? And it's on the third night at Jack's going. And she's like, I don't know. She mentioned something temporary. Well, he was like, well, how about you just take Jack's spot? Why don't you just take his job, take his position? And then she was like, da da. He was like, all right, great, that's settled. And then he walks off. So then she texts Christian. He was like, well, no, Christian texts her. He was like, you still got a job? She was like, kinda. So she ended up taking Jack's position. So not it's like he got Jack fired, and then she takes Jack's job. So now she basically got a promotion. Crazy. This is why I say like this is if you could understand why women like this. Like, bro, like I just told you, she got three men swooning over her. She got the billionaire, the photographer, and her other boss. Well, the boss just got fired. Um, and she always oblivious to who be this and the third, boom, boom, boom. Then the boss done her billionaire boyfriend and got the boss fired, and then she ends up taking her boss's job. This is just some I don't know. there's just there's elements to like of like book girlies or whatever, and they like it's one of those type of vibes, right? And then from there, it's this whole daggone like she gets her bosses like she's an avid reader, author, writer, whatever, and then she ends up getting the senior position at the company. And bro, what, bro? And she got this billionaire that she don't even, bro. This anyway. Uh, what was next? Hold on, actually, hold on. There was one thing. There was one thing. I think it was that part. I think I already talked about that part on the last one. And then, mm, oh well. Anyway, she talks. She. Oh well. She's texting Christian, and Christian. She's like, kinda. She got Jack's job or whatever. She tells Christian that, and Christian was like, congratulations. We should go celebrate. So they go out to dinner, and then she was like, did you have anything? He was like, you think I had something to do with this? He was like, nah, that was all you. And so she was like, I can't even believe it. This ain't third, boom, boom, boom. And then what? I'm trying to figure out who says it. I'm not sure if it's her. I think she says it. She says something of like the yeah. She says it. She says it's something along the lines of basically like she ready to go home, and yeah, she I forget exactly what she says, but she says something along the lines of she ready to get up on out of there, and she ready to make it do what it do. And he like, check please. So there is this one little part of like he's like, take your panties off. She's like, right here, right now, in the restaurant. Yeah, she does it. And then while they're on the elevator, uh, he uh, he goes to like tie his shoe. So they're in the back of the elevator, right? He goes and like all the other people get into the elevator. So they're in the back of the elevator with all these other people, and then he like goes to tie his shoe, and then like he takes his arm no, but it like from her the calf all the way up and this and that third. So he playing with her while they're going down the elevator or whatever. Then they go home, and then now once they're home, and like so, there's not a lot that happens within the next 10 minutes either. But then they go home, and let's see, he takes a call. Actually, they go home. He takes a call. Who calls? I don't know. So then they go to. She's like walking around, and she goes to the pool room or whatever, like 8 ball billiards. And so that just made me think about having a photo shoot at the pool table. Um, but that's one thing I needed to like kind of sort of do. Either way, she uh she does that, and then come on, think about think. Um, she's at the pool table, whatever, and then he was like, "What are you doing?" She was like, "Well, you made me wait, so now you gotta wait." And then he said, "Okay." So she was like, "Let's make a little wager. If she wins I think they go to like the red room, playroom, or something like that. I think that's what she said. So like, did like the one thing I will say that's like where this one takes a like is more or whichever is the fact that she's asking and she wants more of the in the beginning I don't know, in the first one there was you know but in this one she's asking more of whatever you want to call that whatever she's asking for more of it in this one, so that's one of the different vibes. But so she was like, if she wins the red room, playroom, whatever, I think, and then he was like, okay, if I win, she was like, your choice. So he immediately goes to grab a pool table, serious face. It's time to get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's 80 minutes. So I'm gonna get to that 90-minute mark, and then try to do another little update or so. Trying to keep track of everything that's going on, unless something like major happens. But one thing I will say is that like I don't know how long this movie is. That's one. I'm just watching it, and then the other part of it is I will. This is another thing. I mentioned it when I first watched it because I had just thought about it when I first started this one, but I meant to say it in the last few ones. But the soundtrack for this one is terrible, bro. Terrible. Now it's a little too late to be whatchamacallit. These movies, I think. Well, actually, literally, the first one is 10 years old at this point because I think the first one came out in 2015. Then this one, 50 Shades Darker, came out in 2017, and then 50 Shades Free, which I think is the last one, came out in 2018. So, yeah, I don't. This movie's what? If it came out in 2017, it's about 9 years old because it'll be 10 years old next year. But this the soundtrack is terrible right about now. That's what I just really want to like say about this one.